Well, hello, my friends. How is everybody today? I'm doing quite well here on this spectacular Saturday. Actually, spectacular now. Timing. I got up this morning for my walk. Good thing I got up early. I took a long walk, and it started raining pretty much about 2 minutes after I got in the car. I went down to the park to walk again this morning. I'm trying not to let the walking become an obsession. I'm trying to keep it fun. I was looking at my app last night and I started adding and I said, damn, I'm guesstimating. I didn't add it up exactly. I was just kind of guesstimating kilometers into miles and bing, bang, boom. But I think I walked about 35 miles or more over the past 7 days, 30 to 35 miles, maybe a little bit more. So I can get a little obsessive like that, but anyhow, it's good. I'm enjoying my walks every day, still getting some good fruit. And for our weekend video today, I wanted to talk about raw food, self-realization, my path, and the connection of it all. I do videos every day, so if you haven't already done it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now and come back and watch some more of my videos. Then hit that little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. I'm just going to free flow a little with a little bit of personal philosophy today, how this stuff all comes together to me, and a little bit more about what I'm about. The raw food, you know, I do that. This channel is largely about raw food. I eat like pretty much a raw vegan lifestyle, complete. I mean, I'll eat a little bit of cooked every now and then, but I'm not so caught up on labels, and I'm not so what do you say, anal about the labels, like it's got to be just right, to where, yeah, I'm going to say I eat a raw food diet, or I'm a raw vegan. I mean, to somebody one time, and I don't respond to things like that because it doesn't make me mad, but it's just like, it's almost like, damn, that's stupid. Some dude, I said something about being raw vegan, and he said, well, you said you've eaten something cooked before, and I'm like, look, that just makes it a description. That just makes things kind of easier. I'm not, when I describe myself as raw vegan, I'm not trying to hang that label and go like, I am fully raw. It's just a description, you know. So, you know, sometimes people don't need to be so serious about it. And in general, I think people need to stop being so serious about the food. And one thing I really think is that people need to stop making like the food is the end all be all. The food is just a catalyst. The food for me just kind of started me on the journey. The food kind of like keeps my portal clean to where I can really thrive in some of my other practices, and where I can put it all together, and where I can reach where I want to go, which is self-realization. Now, I just wrote this down just to make sure so people don't get confused. Not to be confused with the same concept, although I read a lot of that stuff and I embrace a lot of that stuff of the self-realization fellowship, which was created by Paramahansa Yogananda, in the guy from the famous book Autobiography of a Yogi. Now, like I say, I do share a lot of the views in there, but when I'm talking about realization, I'm not necessarily talking about it from that particular path, from those particular methods, although I would sure like to go and spend some time at one of those fellowships. But I wrote down the definition, and just the simple definition I don't know, I guess this was probably Wikipedia definition or whatever, is what I'm talking about. And the definition they gave of self-realization is fulfillment of one's own potential. That's something that I'm really focused on, and I'm probably focused on even more with, you know, being 54 years old and not having really come to the path, what I consider the real path. Although if I really wanted to go back and forth with myself, maybe all that other stuff I was going through was also part of the path, and which it was. But when I began my path away from all that stuff, I've been seeking self-realization. And I kind of picked up early on. I was one of the ones early on, you know, that got it. And I'm real happy for that it was never going to be, I was never going to obsess over this raw food thing, the raw vegan aspect of it. And that's why I encourage people, and I'm always throwing little hacks out there, to go ahead and get to that place that you want to be food-wise. Whether it's fully raw or whether you're still eating cooked food. That's why I'm always talking about clean too. In just my opinion, and this stuff is just coming from my perspective and how things work for me, the cleaner the body, the more receptive our portal is to receiving things, and also what we're putting out there. So I don't think my meditation practice would be anywhere remotely what it is. And there's people out there that are don't necessarily eat like I do, that have phenomenal meditation practices. So there's no judgment on anybody else's life or the way anybody else is living. But I just think for me, my meditation practice would not be the same. All of this stuff is so connected, so interconnected for me. And so much of my spiritual practices, my meditation wrapped into my food, is based on the principle of true ahimsa, doing no harm. So I feel like, that I'm doing the best I can food-wise for doing no harm. Am I doing perfect? No. I'm sure there's a lot of products that damage the environment. I haven't looked into everything I do, and I'm not, we basically can only do the best that we can do. But I think the choices I make, not to choose death to put on my plate, not to choose suffering, I think there's a certain spiritual karma that comes along with that, and it also opens you up to be more receptive when you're doing meditation, when you're doing other practices such as that, the breathing practices, fitness, being healthy. There's so many people, I see them, and they're just so into the food. They don't have any sort of body movement. They don't have any sort of a practice of fitness. And if that word trips people up, just say movement. Movement. We all need to be moving our body. And I'm working on a blog post this weekend. I'm actually working on 3. This one's going to jump around a lot today. And I'm talking about walking. It can be as simple as that. In fact, the title of it is going to be called Walking Your Way to Health and Fitness, or Walking Your Way to Fitness and Health. And how, if you're not a gym person, you don't have yoga classes, you don't have this, you don't have that, simply go outside and walk. Okay, you can't get outside where you are, bad weather, bad this, bad that. There's probably a building somewhere within your town. Like here, I know old people, they'll go walk Walmart in the morning, but you can find a way to move your body. Everybody can always find a way to move their body. So I feel all of this stuff kind of works together. I don't think I would be able to be as far along as I am, or moving in the direction I'm moving in, if you eliminated any of those elements of my practice. Like, okay, let's say I practiced meditation and I was physical. I went to the gym. Even, I'm not doing physical yoga, asana, although I'm about to get back to my mat. I think I'm going to get back to my mat this week. If I could be doing all those practices, spiritual practice, but if the food wasn't there, none of these things would be operating the same, not for me. So there's a synergy about it that comes together. Now, how did it get started? Like I say, it just that's why I judge. I don't make comments on it, but I judge within my mind people's demeanor, and by extension of that, I kind of judge their diet by the vibe they present. That's why I don't believe a lot of people are really eating like they are, because I was very intense. I could be very aggressive. I was never violent. I never considered myself mean. I never considered myself a bully, but a lot of that, I won't say the fire went out. I got a lot of fire in me, but the fire became more controllable. I just became less aggressive, less, I don't know. I felt like more reaching out to people, being more empathetic to people, being more sympathetic to people, being more loving and open to people when I started eating like this. And it just opened, like I say, it opened the door. The raw food, the clean way of eating, the not eating death, was the portal. It just opened the door, and it was able to, okay, then I stepped into this big old place, and then other things, then I start working on meditation, which actually only picked up a regular meditation practice just about 1.5 years ago. So that hasn't been, things have progressed all the way over the time. Even before that meditation practice, though, the gratitude, like I talked about in that video, that started almost immediately. Almost as soon as I opened that door with the food, I did feel just an immediate gratitude for everything, and my senses took in everything differently. It was almost like, I don't know, maybe I had blinders on, and I couldn't smell that well. And, all of a sudden my senses just exploded. Every time I walked outside, I was very aware of everything that was around me, everything that was going on. And I had a deeper appreciation of that, which has only developed over 6 years. It would be interesting if somebody was following me along on my walks and I didn't know it, because we're all a little self-conscious if we know somebody's watching them. But if you watch me, I walk along like a child. I'm like a kid. I'm sure people see me. I mean, I stop and I look at the flowers and I smell things and I see squirrels running around and I stop and I talk to the squirrels and I see birds, and I'm uber aware of everything around my environment, which I was not aware of before. When you're walking in the heat, hungover most of the days of your life, you kind of got sunglasses on, you got your head down, just going, oh Jesus Christ, just get me to a place where there's some air conditioning and something cold to drink. So yeah, there was just like an explosion of sounds and colors and light and everything else for me, when I started eating. But going back to what I said, I knew from the very beginning, I knew from the vibes I was picking up about communities that dealt with this way of eating and whatever, that the food, I could never drop too deep into the food and I just didn't see myself for the next 10 years like just constantly talking about nothing but food. And that's why I got this channel going and got, Raw Tropical Living going, I'm trying my best to kind of, like delve into other subjects. Now it's just simply a matter of numbers. I always, when I do videos, I know by certain keywords, when I'm honed on the keywords on the raw vegan stuff and the raw food stuff and the raw food diet, that's always going to get a lot more views. And yes, I like to build the views. I like to build my audience. I like to build my subscribers, because the bigger those subscribers get, that offers me more freedom to talk about some of the other stuff, which I'm real interested in talking about. And like I say, that's the kind of stuff I'm going to share more and more on the blog. Just more of kind of my personal stuff. I'm even thinking about another platform for the meditation. But, just embrace more, just enjoy this life. That's really what it's all about. It's like I'm just excited to be alive every day. I get up and I'm like, which aspects of this stuff am I going to enjoy today? My meditation grounds me every day. It's my safe spot. It's that, it's that little home. It's a version of home. It's where I go home every day, where I check in, where I just kind of, settle myself. And I think I'm a little excited. I don't want to say, because I don't like to judge my meditation practice by saying, oh, things are good, my meditation is good these days or bad these days. So all I'll say is I went through a patch where it was a little bit like going through seas. I went through some rough seas where it was a little rockier. It was a little bit harder to settle in, but I went every day. More recently, it's been easier and easier again to settle in. And then, the longer I can settle in, the better I can settle in. I'll pick up these insights from time to time. But just to give you something to think about today, maybe possibly about your life, how you do things, and sometimes they can all support each other. If you're struggling a little bit on the food aspect of it, you can use your meditation, you can use the fitness, you can use these other areas to work on other areas and to support other areas. So anyhow, this is just a rambling, babbling kind of compilation of various beliefs and how they all connect for me. But hey, that's basically what this channel is about, isn't it? Just to see how far we can go. And I'll go back to that, and I really like that. Self-realization is really what I'm working on from this strictest definition right here, or this most simple definition. Fulfillment of one's own potential. That's all I'm really looking for. That's all I'm really looking for. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.